Hello everyone, welcome to the another example of thermal analysis. Today we will see semiconductor thermal expansion and stresses. So this is the tutorial number 38 in the ANSYS workbench beginner module. Now first of all we should know the definition. We have seen this earlier. I am again repeating it. In thermal analysis, coefficient of thermal expansion is very important. The coefficient of thermal expansion describes how the size of an object changes with the change in the temperature. Higher the value of coefficient of thermal expansion, material will expand easily. So we know this thing earlier. So what is the objective of today's tutorial is that to study the behavior of thermal expansion mismatch in semiconductor device. Today we will consider two different material and we are joining it and we are providing two different temperature as well. We'll see how it works. So the result output desired or the results which we want are total deformation and the thermal stresses. Guys, please subscribe both the channels. I will provide the link in the description of this channel. So we'll see what is meant by the thermal expansion in semiconductor. So we have the semiconductor with us having the copper die and the silicon substrate at the bottom, and the dimensions are in the mm provided with 2 mm thickness. So now see what happens. We have the material property with us, thermal expansion coefficient, and copper and silicon both is provided, and at copper is experiencing 60 degrees Celsius and the silicon is provided with the 40 degrees Celsius temperature, and silicon substrate is fixed at the bottom. Now see, due to the difference in the thermal coefficient of expansion, we will see the stresses development at the joint as well as the thermal expansion mismatch at this particular region where both the copper and the silicon are attached. We'll see how it works in the ANSYS, and using the ANSYS we will find out the total deformation as well as the thermal stresses. So let's go to the ANSYS workbench. Now once you come to the ANSYS workbench, drag steady state thermal. Now tell me guys, why we are selecting steady state thermal? Because our temperature is remaining constant with respect to time. So that's why we have selected the steady state thermal. If it is changing with respect to time, in that case this problem become transient thermal analysis. So now we will go to the engineering data for addition of material. So we are steady state thermal, so we'll go for the general material, no need to take the thermal material and all these things. So we have to add two material. We have copper and silicon is provided in the library, but still we will create new material with the property provided to us. So copper, and next is silicon. So we have selected or created two material, copper and silicon. Now we will provide the another properties. I have clicked here at filter engineering data. In few cases it may shown completely. I have filtered few data, that's why this thing is not shown. So I have clicked on the filter engineering data. Now the things which I want in my material, first is will select copper. I want density of copper, then isotropic instantaneous coefficient of thermal expansion. This is another thing which we want. Then we want complete isotropic elasticity property in copper, means Young's modulus of elasticity as well as the Poisson's ratio. Then we will go to the conductivity and we want isotropic thermal conductivity in the copper. So this property we have compulsory we want with copper material for the our analysis. Now same with silicon, we want density, then we want isotropic instantaneous coefficient of thermal expansion, then we want two properties from isotropic elasticity, and another property we want from the isotropic thermal conductivity. Okay, one more thing which we can add here. We'll go to the uh, where to search that particular property. I'll see. It is in the, yes, here it is in the thermal. We'll give the specific heat as well. So we'll give the specific heat to silicon, and we'll provide the specific heat to copper as well. So all these 6 properties we have to fulfill. So first we'll fulfill the properties of the copper. In copper, density is 8933. This is the density of copper kg per meter cube. Then the isotropic instantaneous coefficient of thermal expansion of copper, which is provided to us in the data, which is 2.18 e raised to power minus 6, means 10 raised to power minus 6. Then Young's modulus of elasticity, we are selecting the unit megapascal, and Young's modulus of elasticity is 100 into 10 to the power 3 megapascal. We are dealing with the megapascal, and the Poisson's ratio is 0.3. Poisson's ratio is provided. Then the thermal conductivity is 400 for the copper, which is very high. Copper is good conductive material. And then the specific heat is 385. Please check the unit as well. So all the properties are provided of the copper. Then we'll move to the silicon. Now density of silicon, which is 2330 kg per meter cube. Then isotropic instantaneous coefficient of thermal expansion is 2.6 e raised to power minus 6. Then Young's modulus of this particular silicon is having quite good high Young's modulus of elasticity. So we have provided, okay, we have made some mistake here. We haven't changed the data, means unit. Now we have changed the units. So it is 200 into 10 to the power 3 megapascal. It is around 188 gigapascal for silicon. So we have selected as the 200 provided, that's why we have selected the 200. Then the Poisson's ratio is 0.27. The isotropic thermal conductivity is 148, and the specific heat here is 712. So specific heat is high. So all the properties of copper and silicon is provided, and we have completed the engineering data. So in that case, in this way, we can give the engineering data which we required, and we can create the material which we want. All the material properties are here. The properties which we want, we can drag it and put it into the material which we have created. So now we'll move to the geometry for design modeling the object. Now once you come to the design modeler, first of all change the units into millimeter, select XY plane, draw the sketch from the sketching, rectangle point P, rectangle is of 40 mm by 40 mm, dimensions general, and it is 40 mm by 40 mm. So 40 mm by 40 mm rectangle is created, and now we want to extrude this particular geometry. So we'll call for the extrude and apply this. First we need to apply this sketch to this extrude. It becomes blue, and the thickness is 2 mm. We want upward side, so that's why we have selected this particular direction. So 2 mm thickness is provided. Now ask for the generation. Now we want another geometry at the top here, which is the copper die, which is for the copper die. So we have to create the copper die at the tops, and for that we have to create a new plane. Now we can create new plane using the surface. In this way, we have to select this top surface, ask for the new plane here, and new plane is created at the top, so that we can draw the drawing on this plane, not on this bottom plane. So we'll select this plane number 4, and here we will draw some drawing. Or we have to select the rectangle. Rectangle dimension is of 20 mm by 20 mm. So this rectangle is rather we call it as a square, not rectangle. It is 20 mm by 20 mm, and we have to constrain it by fixing it proper dimensions. So this horizontal distance and this vertical distance, so both are 10 mm. So 10 mm is provided, and we have drawn the drawing for the copper die. And now we'll go to the extrude. First we have to select the sketch number 2 is selected, applied it, and the thickness is 2 mm, and it should be in the upward direction. It is properly provided, and here we have the drawing, or rather the model for the copper die. But dear friend, you might be thinking that both are not separate. How we conclude that both are not separated? Because when we go to the tree outline and we'll see the part, it is showing only one solid. See, complete one solid. So silicon and the copper is not separated, so we have to separate the solid. We have to create the two solid, we have to create two parts. So how we can create two parts? We have to use the slice option. So we have to slice, we have to cut the part at particular plane, and that plane should be plane number 4. So now we'll select the slice, then we will select the plane number 4, because at plane number 4 we want to select separate both the part, apply it, and ask for the generate. As soon as we did this particular thing, you will find that we have created two solid. So this number solid number 1, and this is the solid number 2. Previously it was only one part, one solid. Now we have two separate solids, so we'll rename it. So we know that this is the copper die, and this particular thing is silicon substrate. So we have both with us silicon substrate as well as the copper die, and we have two parts, copper die as well as the silicon substrate with us. Now the geometry part is completed. Now we will move to the ANSYS Mechanical for further process. Now we'll click on the model. So once we come to the ANSYS Mechanical, go to the geometry, and we'll select the copper die, and actually we have to provide the material, so we have to provide the copper die with copper and silicon substrate with the silicon. Now both the material is provided, which was missing earlier, and connection, yes, this thing we will see connection, that is the contact. See the contact region, we have contact region here, copper and the silicon, and we are considering this as a bonded, so it is automatically creating the bonded contact. See, the bonded contact is automatically created, so we need not to disturb this particular thing. We will give the contact is necessary because both are separate parts, so software, we have to tell the software that there is a contact between the two parts. And now we'll go to the meshing. In meshing, we will go for the sizing. For the uniform meshing, it is quite easy things, that's why we have selected the sizing option. We have select both the part, apply it, and we'll provide the element size. We will give the element size of 2 mm, and ask for the update. So here it will take some time. So meshing, we have hexagonal mesh is created, 3D element. So meshing is with us. Now we have to provide the boundary conditions. Now what are the boundary conditions? Temperature. So temperature which we have to take, let me check. Temperature of silicon is 40, and copper is 60 degree. So insert the temperature of silicon substrate is at bottom, apply it, which is of 40 degree Celsius, and temperature number 2, which we have to provide to the copper die, applied it, and this is of 60 degree. And now we'll ask for the steady state thermal solution. Once we have the steady state thermal solution, we will check the temperature. It will show same temperature and we'll see the total flux as well, and we'll solve it. So check the temperature. This is completely 60 degree and this thing is showing completely 40 degree. There might be some exchange of temperature at this place which is varying. See, we can see here the temperature is varying from 60 to 40 degree, and that variation is exactly this particular contact region. So now we'll go to the static structural for deformation and for the stresses. So go to the project schematic and drag static structural and put it into the solution, so that all the properties are and all the results are forwarded, and double click on the model. Now the load is imported from the steady state thermal. What we have to do, we have to only provide boundary condition, that is we have to fix it at the bottom. So we have to provide this particular this thing is fixed at the bottom, and ask for the solution. Due to temperature it will expand, and the place where it is not allowed to expand, it will create the stresses. This is the very basic concept of thermal stresses. Now solution we have with us. We'll ask for the deformation, total deformation. We will ask for the directional deformation along the Z, so that we will get the mismatch, as well as we will ask for the stresses, that is equivalent stresses, and we'll go for the solution. Now we'll see result one by one. And now see, my friend, first we will see the total deformation. So the total deformation, we can see that the maximum deformation is at the upper surface of the copper, because it is freely expanding, as well as this surface which is freely expanding. But at the contact you might be see that there is quite difference in the deformation. And now when we will go to the total deformation, same thing you will observe that at the directional deformation along the Z direction, upper portion is expanding, and this particular portion which is at the contact showing some mismatches. And when we will see the equivalent stress, at equivalent stress we are getting the stress around 70 megapascal, if I am not wrong, 27 megapascal, sorry, it is around 27 megapascal, which is at the bottom. Even the maximum stresses we will get at this particular region also. So this is the place where we are getting the maximum stresses at the contact, because this contact region is not allowed to expand, and due to which we are getting the maximum stresses at this region. And this particular region which is at the bottom will also experiencing the maximum stresses, because this portion is not not allowing the expansion, or not freely expanding. So the portion which is fixed will always feel extra stresses or maximum stresses. This is the basic concept in any problem, whether it is thermal, structural, or whether it is explicit dynamics. We have to this thing we have to follow always. So at this portion we have the maximum stresses. We'll see it we'll get when we will move it around, and this bottom portion as well is also experiencing the maximum stresses. So in this way, guys, we have seen how the thermal coefficient of thermal expansion causing the mismatch of deformation. So this is the main concern when while doing the thermal analysis of the semiconductor. In next class we will see another example of thermal analysis, and after one or two more example related to thermal analysis, we will move to the fatigue analysis. So guys, keep watching, subscribe the channel, and please press that particular bell icon so that you will get the latest notification. Thank you very much.